Okay, guys. So in the last session, we haven't covered these Java input, like how you can take the user input in your program, right? So to take the input from the user when your program is executing, at that you can use scanner class. This is one of the class that you can use to take the input from the user. So as you can see that I have created one sample Java file, input.java, and in that at line number C, that you can see that I have created one object of the scanner class, which is named as scanner. Sorry, which is named as input, right? And this is the scanner class, and is equal to new scanner system.in, right? About creating the Java object and classes, we'll talk about that in detail in this class and object session. But yeah, just remember that to take any input from the user at runtime, we can use scanner class, right? So scanner, then give the variable name as you may want to, right? And you can give any name. This is just a variable or the object. This again scanner class, and in this argument you have to just pass system.in. So this is just a standard syntax that you have to remember. And whenever you use a scanner class, you have to import the Java library, which is this one at the line number 3, java.util.scanner, right? So once you have done that, so let's say suppose you want to take you want the user to enter any number, right? So any number is the integer number. So for that, what you can do, whatever the scanner object you have created, right? In that using that object, you can you use that object, and you can call this the different methods which are available to why it is not working. Just a second, my keyboard is not working. Okay. And yeah, when you type next, you will see different methods are available, like next integer. Then in the bracket we have to pass one more thing, one more argument. It says the radix, right? And we have next byte, next short, for all the I can say for all the data types, all the primitive data types which we have learned in the last session. For that, you can call any method next integer. So what will happen is that the expected user input would be the number. Same you can do that for the float, for the double, and to take any like any string, you can just call the command input dot next, right? So you can see that I have just written like three few lines to take the input from the user. So I'll just run and you'll get to know that. Since this is a very easy topic, I am not doing right now I'm not creating a program. This is just a pre-created one, right? Okay, to save the time. Yeah, to save the time. It says enter any number. We'll just write it down. Enter number is 43. Then again it says something float. For the double, what we can have, right? Yeah, let's see. Even if you have entered the long integer, it is converted into the double one. You can see the zero is added after the decimal point, right? And the last one is the input tags. So let's say automation training, right? But here you can see only the first word is taken as the input. It is not accepting any spaces, any white spaces, right? So this is about the getting the input from the user when your program is running. Any doubt in this one? Any questions for this input class?
No.
No. Yeah. Nice. I hope no one is waiting in the lobby. Yeah. No one is waiting.
So, Nirvesh, just one question. It is really
Yes.
useful for like when we are developing end-to-end flow, the scanner uh,
Mm, I
functionality.
so I'm not sure. Even in our automation, you will never use. There is rare. I haven't seen a such scenario where you will be able where you have to use this. But this is just for information. This is the some of the basic. Mm, this comes under the Java basic part. Input output. It may come if you have a knowledge, then it may come handy to you whenever you find such scenario like where you need the user input in the automation, like you can do the automation where at the start you will take the input from the user, like on which browser you want to run, for example, right? And based on that you decide like yeah, and based on that every the configuration is done, for example. So
Okay.
that can that could be one of the scenario, but yeah, still for that as well we have the different configuration or the different methods, right?
Yeah, because on
So
browser level, mostly we are using different XML files or functions, and based on
yes,
that we run our program. So this might not be as helpful. But
yeah,
yeah, it's good
that
to be a
it's
part
good to
of
have knowledge on that,
knowledge.
right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, fine. So next in line we have next in line we have the decision making. Like a decision making is like you have to decide, you have to perform something based on specific condition, right? In real life scenario, let's talk about the real life situations. What is decision making?
Sorry, didn't get you.
What is decision making? What in real world? What is decision making? What you do generally in decision making in real life?
Generally, if any problem comes up, we take a decision either for A or B.
Yes, right. You take the decision based on some condition. Like, agar for example, for example, like say, अगर मेरी लॉटरी लग गई तो I go to the US, right? अगर नहीं लगी तो I'll be here in India only, for example, right? So this is kind of some scenario, some situations happen, right? So in programming as well, if there are a number of times where you need to, or your program need to take decisions based on based on particular condition, right? So whenever whenever this type of situation comes up, you need to define some condition, and then you need to write a code accordingly, right? Like if this condition is satisfied, then do this. If it's not condition, if it's not satisfied, then do this, right? Or do not do, or don't do anything else, right? So in so for the decision making in Java, we have if else, if statement, if statement, if else statement, and we have one more called switch statement, right? Okay, first, uh, so here you can see that there are two types of decision making statement in Java. One is very commonly used, which I have already said, if statement, right? And this you will find in almost every piece of code. Like when we talk about the automation in terms of like selecting the web browser, right? Like if you want to run the script on the Chrome, then proper WebDriver instance should be created for the Chrome browser. If we need to run the script for the Firefox, then that, and Edge, or then likewise that, right? Okay, so this is kind of some decision that script has to make, right? So it is like you will find in most of the time, right? Even let's say that if you want if you are taking decision, right, based on like if particular text is matched, right, after performing steps, like say expected and actual result is same, then we mark that test as the pass in manual testing, correct? So this is also a kind of the decision, right? Or condition, like if expected result is equal to actual result, then mark the test as pass, else mark test as fail. This is what we do, correct? Hello,
Yes.
right? So yeah, mainly you will face the same you will face the same situation in automation as well, right? You based on some conditions, you have to mark a particular test as pass or fail, particular test script as pass or fail, right? Okay. So how you will use this if else statement in this one, right? So let's take for example, I have this one. Okay, right. It's on the syntax. I'll just write down the syntax for this one, right? If this is the keyword, then here you have to write down the expression or condition, expression or condition. That is what you have to specify over here. If this condition is true, then only it will go into the whatever is written in the if block. Let me share one of the flowchart that would be helpful for you. I'm pretty much sure that everyone did get the idea about how if else is working, right? But still, let me show this one. Is the share. Can you see this, the screenshot?
Yes.
Yes, like
Yes.
if a particular condition is true, then the code goes over here, and then after it will do performance. So it will execute further, right? So if number is equal to 10, and what are the what condition we have written? If number is greater than 0, right, which is correct. So in that case, the code it will go inside the if condition, it will execute that code, and then it will come out, right? If condition is false, here we can see that number is less than 0 on the right hand side, and declared number is equal to 10, and in the condition we have written number is less than 0, which is clearly false. There, so it will mark this as the false, and it will not go inside the if condition. Okay, so this is just the normal if condition, right? What about if condition is not matched, if it's false, then again we want to do we want to check or we want to execute some specific code. Then as well we can write the else part, right? As you can see in the screenshot, like not the screenshot, in the image, on the left hand side, condition is true. If condition is equal to true, then it will execute the whatever the code written inside the if in the if block. And if condition is false, then what will happen? The code written inside the else inside the else statement, that will be executed, and then after it will come out. Then after code, then after it will come out, right? Like say whatever is written in the else statement. So I believe that this is pretty much easier, straightforward. Should I go into the detail about like how to execute or go with this for the if else condition? Hello.
No, not required. I mean, we understood the syntax. Yeah.
Yep, understood. Everyone on the same page?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Did everyone speak?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, fine. Now, that is about the if and if else statement, and we do have like if else statement, if else if. Like say if you want to have the multiple conditions, right? Multiple conditions if you want to compare with that. Like कि अगर ये नहीं हुआ तो ये नहीं हुआ तो ये. Nested one, right? Multiple if else condition. In that case, we can you can use the else if as well. Like on the leftmost part, you can see first condition is true, then again then it will come out in the center one, the condition written in the else if that is matched, right? If that is matched, then that code will be written, but in the center one it doesn't match, then it goes for the else one. So basically it will go sequentially. First it will check the condition written in the if that is not matched, then it will check for the condition written in the else if part. If that is not matched, then it will go for the else part, right? If that's matched, then it will go check whatever written in the else if one, right? So this is pretty much straightforward with this one, this as well, else if whatsoever, right? Okay, next one is about the switch expression, right? So switch is also kind of a if else statement only, but in a better way. In a better way, I can say that here you are just you have to deal. You are pretty much sure that there are only few cases which are available. Based on that, that code should be executed. Like say, for example, here product name start. See product. Let's do one thing. I'll have one more thing. String. And what I'll do, let's say whenever you go in the mall or you visit the mall, we have the different sections available, right? Like sports section, kids section, or clothes, wearable, and the shoes, electronics item, kitchen items, grocery item, right? It's those type of sections are available. So based on that, if I enter into the sports section, then I'll get items related to the sports only. When I enter into the clothes section, I will get the clothes only, right? Likewise that. So here we can see the possible cases are defined, right? Either it will have a sports section or kids section or kitchen section or the electronic section or XYZ, right? So this is defined. So whenever you have the situation where you know that in any situation, whenever you know that only this possible cases are possible, only this particular scenarios are possible for particular situation, then you can use switch, right? So switch is mainly like switch is the other form of if else condition only. हेलो, सिर्फ मैं ही बोलता रहा हूँ.
Yes,
Hello?
yes.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So switch is like that only. Whenever you know specific scenario or for the particular situation, like then you can use the switch statement. Now this is okay. What I'm doing over here is electronics. I'm just writing down the syntax for this one, and I'll show the flow chart as well. Right now, as I've said that this okay. Sorry. The switch statement or switch case statement is the multi-way branch statement. It's an easy way to execute the different parts of code based on the expression or the condition given. So in the if condition, whatever we are returning, we are typing over here. As you can see, I have highlighted in the line number 54, s1 dot equals ignore case. So this is one kind of expression only, right? So and in the line number 74, sports, right? So here it matches this product type, whatever the input it's provided in the switch statement, that will be compared with the cases written, and then accordingly it will execute the proper code, right? So it can have the multiple cases and it can have the default values as well. So here the case is that in our example we have product type, right? And in the switch statement the given input is the product type, right? So whenever we are calling this function, the sports will be passed. So what what program will do, it will first compare that this case is sports or not. It will go one by one, right? So linear execution, say, or the sequential execution, it will happen in that way, sports. So if that is matched, then it will execute this line of code and it will break from the, and it will come out from this system, sorry, it will come out from the switch statement. Now if and if it doesn't match that case, then it goes for, then it checks for the next one. And if that if it doesn't find any case, then we can have the default statement. That default means it will execute whenever the given input doesn't match with the cases written in the switch statement. Okay, hello,
Yes.
clear everyone? This is also pretty much
Yes.
straightforward, right? So I don't believe that we should have, right? Now here, if you have observed that in the case sorry, on the line number 77, 81, or in 85, right, we have written break statement. Can anyone say that why it is required?
I think as soon as this condition will get satisfied, we'll break that and will not verify the other conditions.
Okay, that is true. Fine. But what will happen if you don't write the break over here?
So after
You
the
have
first,
said that.
if first condition got satisfied, if break is not there, it will go to next condition, right? And that's not the scenario, because once we get the output, why we want to check for other scenarios? If we are not getting in that case, only we are going for other case. Or we already have default value as well. If both the cases are not getting satisfied, we are going to have default value, right?
Correct. So yeah, whatever Udita has said, that's right. That if the condition is not matched, then only where if condition is matched, then just do the execution of that part and break it. So using the break to execute a loop, I think Archita has said that, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So whenever you use switch statement, make sure that for each cases you write down the break. If you don't write the break, it will execute all the cases with all the cases listed in the switch statement, considering the default one as well, right? We don't have any much to talk about for this one, for the switch statement, right? Okay. What else? What's the next part?
We mostly use if condition, right?
Right. Yes, we mostly use
Have we
if conditions.
used switch in real time?
But if you talk about me, yes, I have used. There
Okay.
are based on the project requirement, I have used it. Right. So it's not
Okay.
like that. I have said that it's up to you. If you know that these are my cases, right? These are my cases. These are the only possible cases which I have to use. Then you can use the switch statement. Let's say again, let's consider the same example about on which browser we want to execute our script. So here we know that we have only possible three cases. Like either on Chrome, Firefox, or Edge, right, or any other one, right? So and if you've decided that by default it will execute on by default, you have to execute script on the Chrome browser. Then in the default one, you can write down the code to launch the Chrome browser. And for the others like Firefox and Microsoft Edge, you can write down the code in the respective cases. So this will be much simpler in than the if else statement,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
So yeah, you can do that. Okay, satisfied with the answer?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Next one is about the loops. Okay, loops. I know AP, everyone knows about this as well, right? Loops in Java. But loop, why loops are required? Why loops are required in our programming language? I'm sure that
Basically,
you have used all of them, all of this.
basically, if you want to perform such condition multiple times, right? If instead of writing that particular code multiple times, we can use this for loop and complete that piece of code using easily. We can avoid duplicating of the same code by using loops.
Yes, correct, true. But that one thing you have at one place you made some mistake. Anybody else you want to give input in this one? No, किसी और को नहीं पता? Hello. Okay, let's cut this short. And yes, today we'll try to finish this session by 10:30 because I have another meeting to join, right? Office meeting. Okay, so looping in programming language is kind of a feature which allows or which facilitates the execution of a particular set of instruction repeatedly while matching some condition under some condition. If that condition is matched, then it will repeat the same code. Then it will repeat the same code or execute the same code multiple times. For right, as per written in your program. In Java, there are three ways or three types of loops available. One is for loop, second is while loop, and the last one is the do while loop. First thing, for loop. I have written everything over here, right? For loop. For loop is like it executes the statement for a particular number of times. It is written over here, like, but what is the meaning of this? This executes a statement for a particular number of times. This is just one line. Can anyone elaborate this? Obviously, I'll explain this later, but
Like based on like in below example, I equals to 10 and equals to I minus minus. So until the condition get matched, it will execute till 10, right? So multiple
but
times.
same will happen with the while loop as well. Ultimately, what you do in any of the loop, see, first statement, what we have said, that it executes some part of code repeatedly while some condition is true. So any loop you take, definitely there will be a condition. There will be a condition, whether it's a for loop or while loop or the do while loop. There will be a condition.
Correct.
Correct.
Correct. Yes, there will be a condition. Only in
Then
that case we are going to execute.
obviously if that condition is met, then only we need to repeat that code, right? Otherwise there's no need of repeating that code, correct?
Correct.
Hmm. Okay, so this statement, this executor statement for a particular number of time, it applies. It doesn't apply to only for loop. It applies for the while loop and the do while loop as well, right? This is not just a thing. This is kind of the common thing or the general thing between the loops that is written over here, right? Now, here, see, from line number 24 to 26, you can see that a for loop is a repetition control structure. That this is kind of technical definition I found from the Google, right? For loop is a repetition control structure that allows you to efficiently write a loop that needs to execute a specific number of times. For loop is used when you know the number of repetitions. When you know the number of repetition. इसको just सिर्फ याद रख लेना. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I won't go into much detail for the for loop. But yeah.
And above you mentioned like in while loop execute a statement for an unknown number of times. So here we put particular number, so it will execute particular number of types, and while loop it will run unknown number of times.
Right.
That's the main difference.
See, no. That's not it's not like that one, right? So basically, where I have said that in the loop we do match some condition, right? If I write while condition like this, while I is less than equal to 5, then do something, right? Then integer I is equal to 0. Now here as well we know that for how many times I need to repeat some code, correct?
Yeah,
Correct. This is the same thing. Whatever I have written over here, like what I will do. Same thing. I'll greater than 0, and here I will do I minus, right? Same thing.
correct.
Same thing as of the value of I in value. Thank you. Right. So we can say that while loop and for loop is same. Can you say that? Can we say that?
We cannot say it's same because there is some difference. That's why we have it. I don't know the exact
obviously,
difference,
obviously there is
it's not same.
obviously there's a difference. Okay, let me share a few flow chart in this one. I'll say that where it is. Yeah. Okay, this is what happens in the while loop generally, right? First, while this statement while, if condition is matched, then 3a. Sorry, if condition is matched, then
So
it
in
goes
while
to
if
this
condition
one.
doesn't match, the loop will not run, right? In for it, even
Same.
though condition is not matched, it will run and the particular defined number of times, right?
No. See here, let's check the code. Let's say if I value is equal to 11, I start over here 11, then will it go inside the for loop? The first statement I have said that it will repeat the code when some condition is matched. So it is not like in while if condition is met, then it will go inside, and in for loop if it's even if condition is not met, then also it will execute their statement. तो फिर जरूरत ही क्या थी, right? So
Correct.
condition will be matched everywhere. Now let's evaluate this one. Let's first understand how while loop works, right? Okay, so in the while loop, first it will check first it will check the condition, right? Then it will execute the whatever is written in the inside the loop, inside that block. It will do the necessary updation. Necessary updation, it means that in particular condition, obviously you will have something like there will be a flag like true or false, right? Or I is greater than or equal to 5. Here what we have written, while I is greater than or equal to 0, right? While I is greater than or equal to 0, we have executed this, and then again we have updated this value I minus minus. So initially I value was 10. The condition is fulfilled. Condition is set to true, 10, right? Then it has executed that, and then I value will be decrement by 1. So again it will be a 9. 9 is greater than or equal to 0. Again it will repeat. It will go till 0, and
Zero,
at that
right.
time there will be a
It
situation
means
where minus 1.
it means it will run until certain condition get meet, right?
Right?
Cert-
Yes. Even
correct.
same for the for loop as well.
But in for loop, we already know it will run multiple times till defined number, right? And in while we have flexibility that it once
So
the certain
okay,
condition get met
okay, okay,
until
okay, 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 okay. Let me give you one more example. Let's say that flag is equal to true, right? So I'll write it down while flag, right? While flag is equal to true, do this thing. And here I am writing some condition. If well, let's write down something like if A is equal to B, then set flag is equal to false in some condition, right? Here I am defining integer A is equal to 54, integer B is equal to 55, right? Okay, fine. Sorry, I'll do like this. Else set flag is equal to false. So this is type of a while loop where we don't know that for how much time for it will repeat this loop. It will repeat this line of code. Correct? Okay.
yes, Nirvesh.
Correct. Here we don't know that for how many times it will repeat the execution.
Correct.
Correct. And in the for loop, it will here will know this one.
Correct.
Correct. Now clear the difference.
Yeah, I understood
Right?
the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
But
say. That in for loop, it will have limitation that whatever value we applied, the number of times it will run. In while it will run until certain
a
condition get
certain condition is matched, right?
yes. That's what
Even
I'm trying to say.
again, don't get confused. Any loop, in any loop, if condition is not matched, then it will come out. It's not
Correct.
necessary. It's not necessary that it will have the likewise thing. But the main difference is that in the for loop, we have to in the for loop we are updating the particular sorry, in the for loop we are using the increment or decrement for the repetition, for the number of repetitions, right? In the for loop you can see that we have used the initialization, we do initialize one variable, right? Whatever the variable we are going to use in the condition, then we write down the testing condition, semicolon, testing condition, and then we use increment or decrement operator for the initialized variable over here, and that we don't do in the while loop. If I have to write the same while loop over here, then how I will write? While
integer I equals
now
to,
I is equal to 10, I have written over here,
yeah. So
right?
I equals to,
And I'll write like I is greater than 0,
yeah, 0.
and then I minus minus. Okay,
So,
right?
and then
So
whatever you want to print, you can.
you print or write some code. Okay, fine.
Correct. Yeah.
That is what you write it down over here. Now,
Correct.
so the main difference is that for loop is provides a very structural way of writing the loop structure.
Okay.
In the while loop, we have to write one line to initialize the variable, one more line for the condition, and one more line for the increment or decrement or updation of the variable whatever we have used in the condition. While in the for loop, we write everything in the single line. So it's the easy to debug, easy to understand for loop and while loop, right? So
Right.
make sure that if you know if you have to deal with say some let's say you want to repeat your code for X number of time, always use for loop instead of while loop. Even if you feel that a while loop is much better, but no, when you write down the while loop, it will have the more number of lines, right? And while when you use the for loop, it will be in the single line. So you will know that what is the initial value of the particular variable. Are we doing a proper increment or decrement or not, right? That we get to know from the single line. So here you can see that at line number 38, I have initialized, and at line number 42, I am doing this, right? So I may get confused that like where I have initialized this variable and what is the correct value, correct? In the real world application, this happens. Okay, so likewise this. Okay, fine. Hello.
Yes, Nitish, correct.
Correct.
Yes.
Everyone. Okay. So should I go with the value flow statement, this flow chart? I think it's clear to everyone, right? How it works and the syntax as well.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, Nitish. Yes.
It would be great if everyone speaks, right? Participants. Yeah. Fine. And for the for loop as well, I have told you the structure, but let me open this as well. So here first it will be the initialization, right? Then the next part will be whenever the for loop execution is started, first it will initialize the variable whatever you have written, then it checks the condition. If condition is set to true, see here we have written if condition is set to true, then it checks for the then it executes the lines written inside the for loop. If condition is not true, see this line, if false, then it directly comes out from the loop. Okay, so checking the condition, if it is true, then only it will go inside, otherwise it will not go inside. When the execution is complete for the particular when condition is met, then it will update the required variable, and again it will check for the condition. If that condition is met, again this thing happens repeatedly, like 3 true, first thing 3A, then 4 5 6, then again 3A. This will happen in the for loop. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay. Loop termination is that when the condition becomes false, the loop is terminated. Now, in Java, we do have enhanced for loop, right? But for that one, we'll cover when we cover the array, right? So enhanced for loop is a type of a loop where we do not have to declare, where we do not have to initialize a variable, or we do not have to specify a condition, or we do not have to update any variable, right? It is just like we have a particular array, and for that array we need to iterate. We need to do iteration, right? So that type of for loop is also supported, but we will cover when we have the when we after we cover the details about the array, Java arrays. All right, fine. Hello.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Okay, fine. Next is do while loop. Okay, do while loop क्या है basically? What is do while loop? It's the same as of the while loop, but the only difference is that here condition is checked after
Executing once.
executing once, right? In the do while loop, your code will at least executed once, right? And then after condition will be checked. So so to like follow allows you to repeat the task number of times. Same, so same as value, only difference is the statement written in the body will execute at least once, right? That is the thing. I have never used do while loop in my career, बोल देता हूँ, right? So there will be a like very rare case you will be using this one. Most of the time you will be using the for loop. Yeah, most of the time you will be using the for loop only. Okay, fine. And then while loop, but do while तो बहुत rare scenario होगा. In that you will be using the do while loop, right? But if your project demands, then you can use it, right? But mainly logic gets much simpler, or when you use the for loop, and the code looks better. Code is optimized with the for loop, right? Yes, someone was saying something. Hello.
No, I was just saying okay.
Okay, fine. Okay. So that's about the loops: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Now, there are conditions like where you feel that either you want to break the loop, and some condition is matched. At that time, you want to break the loop, or you want to skip that part of execution, right?
Break can be used, right?
Break can be used, but whenever some condition is matched, that time you don't want to execute, but you want your loop to repeat the code for the next line. Well, let's say for example like say you are climbing, right? You are walking down, and there are stairs, and you are in hurry. So what you will do, you'll skip few steps, right?
Assertion.
Not the assertion. What I'm saying that you are going, and you are in hurry, right? And you find that there are stairs. So what you will do, you will skip few steps of the stair. Like पहले ये किया, फिर jump करके तीसरे पे गए, फिर चौथे पे गए, फिर five, likewise that you will go in that part, right? So here you want to like you may want to skip but code, or skip execution of particular code written in that for loop, or after that condition is matched. In that case, you can use either continue statement, you can use the continue statement. Let me take a real example for the continue. So break, about break, everyone knows. When your particular condition is matched, and if you want to terminate the execution, then you can use the break one. Hello.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
correct.
Right? But if you want to skip a particular part, then you can use the continue. So here I have written one of the scenario. Let's say that in the shopping list, there is a shopping list. Mostly girls like to do the shopping, right? And they go into the mall. So groceries, clothes, makeup, sports, household. But they find that no, this is the sports section. So we will not go inside this section. They will immediately come out, right? So it will continue. But again, they want to check the other section as well. So that for loop should be continued, right? हर एक सेक्शन चेक तो करना ही है हमें. तो they are just skipping one. It's sorry, no offense, related to as कि girls के as choice होती है, as a no offense, but हाँ just example कि भाई कोई particular section है, तो we will not go into that section, we'll check the other section. तो हमारे एक loop हो गया कि there are 10 sections. From that we will just skip few sections and we'll check the remaining one, right? So here you can see that for loop I have used, and whenever these this section type is sports, it will come out from the loop. So when we say that come out from the loop, it means that after the continue statement, whatever is written, whatever the code is written, that will not execute. Okay.
Okay.
Whatever continue
But this
statement,
for loop looks different.
yeah, that is for each loop. That is for each loop, right?
Okay.
Okay. So okay, let me check. Let me write down.
Nirvish, if you have meeting at 10:30, we
Yes,
can
I
solve
do.
it.
Yes, I do have a meeting at 10:30. Don't worry. Don't worry
Yeah, so
about it.
3 minutes are left, just for
But
reminder.
yeah, my other laptop is started, so don't worry. It's already running, right? Okay. So yeah. Okay. This for loop, Achita.
Yes.
Here you can see that if count is equal to 5, then it will just continue. So after the continue, we have written system.out.println dot, and in that we are printing the current count, right?
Okay.
Okay. So when count is equal to 5, then it will not print 5. It will check. It will go for the next one. Should I
Okay.
execute this?
I
want me to
understood.
execute?
Like we have skipped the fifth one in this.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do one thing. For loop में बहुत
So
सारा
to
है.
skip a step, we use this.
Continue. Yeah. To skip a step, we use the continue, and to break the loop, we use break.
Okay.
Okay. What's the error? So here you will see that before continue, it will have 5. So, oops, sorry. Before continue, it is printing count 0, count current value is 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and again the count value is printed, right? Okay, but when there is a 5, current value is 5, it has skipped this line number 19, line number 90, right? And then it continues for the rest of the executions, right?
Yeah.
Oops. Okay. Fine. Okay, so this is about the if this is about skipping a particular line, like say continue or the break statement. Any doubt in this one? Anyone?
No.
Nope. Okay, so we are left with the array that we will cover in the next session, right? Okay, fine. This is covered. I would suggest that you go with the you check the assignments, that both the assignments, right? In Yeah, you should be able to complete this one, right? And about submitting the assignment, I'll share the guidelines over the WhatsApp. Okay, to everyone. Fine.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
then see you on catch you on Friday.
Friday. Right.
Okay. Thank you guys. Bye bye. Good night.
Okay.
Right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
I'll upload this as well. Stop share. Stop.